is Fantasy Football Till Death.
V17.
Testing. Hello. We're live. What's going on, everyone? After a week hiatus, we are back. It's your boy Thomas, joined alongside by Mr. Sam Singer. It's the FFtilD Podcast, episode 11, and we have lined up with week 11 of the NFL season, Sam.
We're finally on track.
It was confusing for a while.
Yeah, it made our job difficult.
I think I got it wrong like 3 straight podcasts.
Yeah, it's okay.
Week 9.
It's okay. It's a slow process from here to the Ringer Podcast Network.
We're going to keep reminding you because that's the goal, ultimately. Which reminds me, stay tuned after the season because this isn't going anywhere.
We're keeping this thing going.
It might not be fantasy football related.
We're going to talk about something.
But the podcast will live on.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We didn't quite figure it out last week. Apologize. We couldn't quite sync up. Sam, life got in the way, I think, a little bit.
Boy.
Walk me through what happened last week to you and the fam.
We had a doozy. of a few days, man. So I think it was probably like Monday or Thursday 2 weeks ago. Our nanny came over and she kind of was like coughing, runny nose. We didn't really think much of it.
So we're blaming the nanny.
Well, I don't know who it was, but we Tuesday the following week got hit with like what we thought was just a little head cold. Scarlett was like, "Oh my God!" She was the first time being sick. Her nose was all like congested.
Was that really the first time?
It was Scarlett's first time being sick. 6 months.
Oh my!
Without getting sick.
I feel like that's like incredibly fortunate. Like I hear of so many young parents that have just been battling sickness with their babies
from early on.
Like Jess's best friend Summer and her husband Will. I feel like their baby Carson's like always sick.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, so she was pretty sick, like for 12 hours. It was adorable, but also you felt so bad for her because she had no idea what was happening. You know,
that photo you sent was
the
little video.
She was just like moaning, but still had her like good jovial personality, but was like, "What the hell's happening?"
Yeah.
She couldn't really sleep because like she'd fall asleep, her nose was stuffed, she couldn't breathe. It would freak her out. She'd wake up crying, so that was brutal for like 24 hours, and then she got better actually pretty fast.
By the way, how did that change like the routine with her being sick? Did it at all?
Not really.
Okay,
no,
so
it didn't really change the routine. I mean, I'm
taking notes here, by the way. So.
We have our nanny. That was like great.
Yeah.
But we gave her like a little bit of baby Tylenol the first night. That seemed to help, but she actually bounced back really quick. And we're like, oh great, she's back to normal. And then Hannah and I both got trucked.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, we got trucked. We haven't been that sick in a long time. We were both like lying in bed all week, and the nanny's like taking care of the baby, and we're just like lying in bed.
You think it was the same thing?
I think so.
It has to be, but
yeah, because then the nanny told us.
Crazy how Scarlett was just wearing it like a champ, and you guys got kicked.
Yeah, well, so like at first we thought it was a cold, and we're pretty sure it was the flu now, and we gave Scarlett her vaccine for the flu like a month ago.
Oh, okay.
So she was sick for 12 hours, and then she was like
Protection
back to normal.
barrier. Yeah.
And then Hannah and I haven't had flu shots in years, and we were just out. We were out. But and Scarlett doesn't care like that. Mom and Dad are sick. So that was, it was a challenge for sure.
You were supposed to go to Joshua Tree for like the whole weekend.
Yeah, we were gonna go to Joshua Tree with Casey and Lisa, and we missed most of that trip. We're still kind of lingering a little bit. Yeah. So
because we were potentially going to have Graham live on the podcast because Graham surprisingly was out for business, was out here in San Diego. And we tried to line that up, but you had the Joshua Tree thing from Thursday to Sunday. So it wasn't going to work out. And then we just didn't really have any time in between then. And then you got sick. So on top of that was just
everything. So that's the long story about why there was no pod last week, guys. So hopefully we didn't lose half our subscriber base. Hopefully everyone's still here.
There were some riots in the streets, I felt like. I felt like there was a little bit of vitriol in those. I felt bad for the league.
It was a quiet Saturday morning for once.
People asked, was it the bye week? Is it the pod's bye week?
It was the pod bye week, and we'll go with that. I like that.
The league was murdered by buys that week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually So speaking of having Graham out, I had another surprise on Friday. Griffin Springfield was randomly down.
And, let's go.
Yeah, he came down to help his mom with something. And so on an absolute mystery, an absolute whim, Graham and Springfield were down, and we had like a fun bowling night and chopped it up with fantasy and all that. And that was the night he dropped his think piece, which was awesome to kind of talk. So
awesome think piece.
Just as an aside, that was super fun. Just like a reminder, like how awesome it is just to have those times with the boys, few and far in between.
Well, just like you talked about in your think piece, we're so fortunate.
Yeah.
To all be such good friends and to still have such a good bond, and thanks in part to this league. So
100%.
Really cool.
Yeah. So mini story time there. Got sidetracked a little bit, but
we're back.
We do have lives outside of fantasy football, So
for now,
there it is.
For now.
But speaking of fantasy football, we do have a guest on this show today. So as it pertains to Sam and I, a little bit less content there as we're featuring a guest, but we do have a few things lined up. Sam, why don't you rattle them off for us?
Well, we figured we'd do a quick state of things. It's been a couple weeks since we've all sat down together. So let's take a look at the league. This is our pseudo trade deadline special. So with the trade deadline looming today, we're going to take a look at some of the moves that have happened over the past couple weeks.
Oh my God. Is it, so we're recording, it's Friday.
Yeah, I did a little podcast magic there.
Is it Friday or is it tomorrow?
It's Saturday.
When you're listening to this, it's the deadline?
Today.
Is it
if you're
Saturday
listening to
midnight?
this, the trade deadline
Friday midnight?
Is today.
This is a real question. Is it Friday at midnight?
No,
or
if you're
is it
listening
Saturday
to this and your name is not Thomas, the trade deadline is today.
Okay, got it. Okay.
11:59 p.m.
Got it. Okay. So when the clock strikes Sunday, no more trades.
No more trades. Get them in, boys.
Got it.
Unless you were trying to trade a Redskin or a Commander.
Ooh, hey guys. All right.
It's been a good run.
Really enjoyed recording this, but we're gonna have to re-record.
Yeah.
And,
let's take it from the top. God dang it! We had such a good run. Bill Simmons, I'm sorry.
So worse than the Gruden emails. Goodness.
Unless you had a Commander or an Eagle, in which case you cannot trade them anymore. So we'll take a look at some of the big trades that have happened over the past couple weeks. Little trade grade, and then maybe some predictions about what might still happen today. And then we're going to bring back our power rankings, top 3, bottom 3, especially after some of the moves that have happened. We'll get to our guest, and then we'll get out of your hair.
Perfect. I like it. And we have a fun guest.
We do have a really fun guest.
Random, whatever that means. But yeah, it was a random lineup here. And it turned out pretty good.
I think it turned out great.
Distractions and all. So, all right, what's the first thing we got on the agenda, Sam?
Let's talk about the state of things. Where we're at.
State of affairs. We're 10 weeks in.
Crazy.
We have a fun division over there in Top Gun where 4-6 is a record that 3 teams share, and then we have Kendall at 3-7. I have no hate towards divisions like this. I've always said that fantasy is a fickle game, and you can be on the short end of the stick when it comes to points, and when it comes to record, doesn't mean the team isn't competitive. It's one of the reasons why I love doing divisions beyond the competitive nature of it, and having that sort of back and forth with your division mates just gives another opportunity to try to make the dance when things are going against you. And I like it. We have Griffin, Ben, and Casey at 4-6. Kendall from 0-7 to 3-7. Something crazy going on in that locker room. And at this point, it's anyone's game. I honestly, I don't have a read for it at all. Do you have any thoughts on the Top Gun division?
No, I love this division. I think every team has the potential to go off every week. I think also every team's proven that they cannot go off every week, but all teams seem to be looking pretty strong here down the stretch. Obviously, Casey is sleeping giant in that division. Ken making moves left and right. We'll see if he makes any more moves today. I love this division. 4-6 doesn't tell the whole story at all.
Yeah, Kendall and Ben were looking pretty bleak a few weeks ago. And at the exact time that they started to turn it around, we have Hunter on a 3-game losing streak and Casey on a 4-game losing streak. you have to think, at least on Casey's side, was it a bit of, that misfortune finally catching up to him and course correcting? But now he's got CMC back, so something to counteract that misfortune. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I think it's anyone's game. Hunter from 3-0 to 4-6. He's got to get the juju swung back around. But yeah, I honestly, at the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in that division. So
no idea. That's
Top Gun. 3 short of a train. Still searching. I'm hoping.
Do you have any recommendations? Do you know anyone that's looking?
I have been putting the feelers out there.
Like, have you been asking at youth group and stuff like that?
I was asking at my birth class, and surprisingly, I had a lot of
people put their hands up.
Yeah, a lot of pineapples in the grocery baskets. So
wow,
I'll get back to you on that. But we have Graham at 7-3, Evan at 6-4, and we have you and Brendan both at 5-5. It's been looking like Graham's division much of the year.
If Graham's running backs stay healthy, I think that's what we've said all season. Man, they're beasts. They're inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Saquon, again, we're recording on a Friday. We just watched Saquon hit his 430 ball of the year, which is absolutely crazy. Down week for Graham last week. I know he feels like he's got to keep the pedal on the metal, barring any breakdown of those running backs or barring, charges from the guys in his division. So I know he doesn't feel comfortable, but yeah, it's a squirrely. It remains the trippiest division, I would say.
Yeah, we got Brendan making moves left and right. I mean, Brendan's just got his finger on the pulse, like the way he can wheel and deal, guys.
How about Brendan? And we can get to it with the trading segment, but making a trade during a week when he had no receivers, trading his only receiver, and still pulling out the win.
That's what I'm saying. He's got his finger on the pulse. This guy's in the locker rooms. He's got his tape measurer out. He's checking girth. He's checking length, and he just has the system down.
That's all it takes. But yeah, 3 short of a train. I'm curious to see how that one ends up. Graham off to a very strong start this week, and if I can pull it off against Evan, he's got a 2-game lead heading into week 12. So we'll see how that one goes. Then lastly, huge in Japan. Luke maintains his strength, his position, 8-2, first place, alone in first place, atop the mountain. I think it's a trend we've been saying all year. He just finds a way. He's been finding a way to reach a really high floor. And when you think maybe he'll take a loss, it just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Finds a way, gets Nico back. Obviously brought King Henry over. T. Higgins looks like he's back to full health. Damn.
Yeah, I need him to, personally, I need him to catch an L here somewhere. At this point, I don't know. I don't see it coming. I mean, he's 8-2. Last night, he played against Daniels and Devontae Smith, who I think combined for 20 or so, maybe a little bit less.
Yep.
So well on his way again to his 9th win of the season. So we'll see. We'll see if that mountain can be climbed as the overall 1 seed or even just in the division here. Griffin Springfield, Mr. Big Trip. It's been a tough go for him. Hopefully the straw hasn't broke the camel's back, but he did have a name change. Went from double Hattie to secondary assist. And I know for a fact that if you're changing from double Hattie to secondary assist, things aren't going well upstairs.
The vibes aren't vibing.
Things aren't going well. So a secondary assist, I believe, I'm no hockey expert, but I believe you get a secondary assist in the stat column if you pass the puck to the guy who passes the puck to the guy who scores.
That's correct.
So like in basketball, if you start like a good play, they call it a hockey assist, right? I pass it to you and you no look pass down to the guy for a layup. They say, oh, great hockey assist by so-and-so. Griffin has changed his alter ego from a guy going for his 6th goal to a guy who's the guy of a guy.
Hey, it's still an important role. It's still an important role. That's why they count that statistic in hockey. So all hope is not lost.
There you go. Glass half full. So Trip, keep trucking. I mean, you obviously got to have a good team, and luck has not been on your side. So
still good. I mean, still deep.
Then we got Jay.
And then there's Jay.
So walk me through, I guess, what's going on with Jay? I truthfully feel like we haven't heard from him at all this season.
I think he's checked out. I think the Dodgers won. That's all he needed.
Which
His
is
team
awesome.
was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Honestly,
Super happy for Jay and the Dodgers.
Really awesome. But so it's like whatever, chalk this one up as a loss. Drafted a sick team, got unlucky a number of times. Dak goes down. That's unlucky. I mean, it's so. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. Do you make moves? Do you not make moves? I think it's unfortunate that right after you kind of, I don't want to say put him on blast, but put him on blast a little bit for going down with his ship. His team did go out and have a 120-point turnaround, and he got highest points and all that. Because I think it kind of doomed him to the strategy. Mm-hmm. And not even an attempt. I don't know. Not even a whiff of a move. I think he reached out to me maybe week 2 or 3 about a trade, but I don't know if anyone else has heard from Jay at all. At all.
I talked to him. About a couple trades, just kind of some fun stuff throughout a couple options, just sort of as like mix it up sort of trades. And I think he's just kind of in the boat of like he's just riding. He's a captain going down with the ship. Whatever happens. I mean, I think he's like, unless something really stands out as making my team better, like really obviously clearly better, then I'm just gonna ride with the ship. So, to each his own. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and hopefully we reel him back. He's still got what I don't want to see happen, and I think the league can speak here, is we get a last place finisher. Not saying you're getting last place, Jay, but should that trend continue and last place be an option, we now have a boring, checked out guest for our Hot Wing Challenge. That's where my mind is now. I'm thinking if we're going to have a last place finisher, I want this to be some good content.
Go up in flames.
Because I think we got to make it like a fun studio show almost. I was talking to Jess about it. We can like literally make like a pseudo studio.
Oh, yeah.
And go all out for it. We have to.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have that forever. It's going to be hilarious. So, we want the guest to be like, A, locked in, B, know what happened in the season with his team and other teams, and then C, like ready to have some fun with it. So we'll see. Love you, guy. Just keep trucking, man. You don't want to get last place.
Look, you're not even out of it. He's not even out of it.
No.
He's got the same record as Ken, and I'm convinced Ken's going to win the whole thing. So
that would be something that we would not hear the end of.
Nope.
Forever. What's can you think of a worst case scenario for the rest of the league than Ken winning the championship after going 0-7?
I don't know if worst case scenario is the way to put it, but
well, how would you put it?
Well, there'd be a certain vindication of some actions and mentality, and we'd have to live with it for a couple more seasons at least, probably. But it'd be a pretty cool story.
It would be a great story. It would be a legendary comeback. Epic. Do you think it would curb the Kenness or increase the Kenness? Because I can see it both ways.
I think it would increase.
You would think it would increase. So you
increase.
Don't think it would be like Thanos at the end of Infinity War, like finally sitting, like resting sort of thing. You think it would just be amped up?
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I could see it that way too. Depends. Does he feel like he's proven all he needs to prove if he's done it?
It mustn't.
Or is he just getting started?
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be the just getting started.
I mean, does he go from a guy who has made 3 times as many moves as everyone else in his division to a guy that just is, happy with the team he drafted and let's just see how the season goes?
Ooh, I don't know. I'd rather not think about.
We don't have to go there.
Yeah, let's see how it plays out. But yeah, legendary. He's got a ton of momentum. I think that's a crazy storyline. And
team's looking good. His team's looking good.
His team is looking good. It is looking good. A lot of trading going on. A lot of flipping and flopping with players all across the league. Actually,
yeah. Ken's made the most trades, I believe, this season. It's not even close. But speaking of that, I think we should get into some trade talk.
It is the official trade deadline special.
Yeah.
Week 11.
Might as well talk
FFtilD
trades.
Death. All right, let's do it. So I guess tee us off. How do you want to do this? We have the trade deadline looming in 24 hours, and we've had a flurry of trades here since our last podcast.
We've had a flurry of trades. I think it would behoove us to recap just some of the major trades. There's been a lot of smaller things too that potentially we could talk about. But since the last time we all got together, the last trade that went down that we discussed, I believe, was we talked about our trade, essentially the Brees for Jamar trade. Did we talk about Brendan and Springfield, the neighbors, White and Singletary? I think the last trade we touched on was Kendall sending Kareem Hunt and Mooney to Graham for Chase Brown and J-Mo. So the next big trade that went down about a week later between Spring and B. Spring sends James Cook, Jaden Reed, Patrick Mahomes, and Ray Davis for Malik Neighbors, Rashad White, Devin Singletary. Pretty decent trade here. Neighbors and James Cook leading the fight card, I would say, on this trade. Since this trade happened, we'll get into how players have moved since then.
Sure.
But initial reaction on that trade.
Yeah, so let's name the segment "Grade the Trade."
Grade the trade.
So we'll just do a quick hitter, and we'll just give our draft grade for it.
Let's do it
for both. Okay, so my quick thoughts. If I had to have a winner and a loser, I lean towards Brendan winning this trade a little bit. Honestly, I didn't think it was super necessary either way.
I agree.
I think it was just something that just kind of happened. I think Springfield, he wanted another dynamite wide receiver.
Yeah,
obviously
Spring,
the alert of
deep
Neighbors.
at RB, looking for someone to pair with Amon-Ra.
Right. And so he makes the trade, doesn't believe in Mahomes, which no reason to really. Brendan, I think, had already acquired Kelsey, looking for that stack, and also I don't know. I mean, he just sees value there. So I would say for Brendan, I would give it a B minus, and for Springfield, I'd give it a C. That's my initial thought for the grades.
Yeah, I'd give it a B minus for B and a C plus for Spring, just because he was pretty strong at RB to begin with, and if Neighbors plays like the Neighbors of early in the season, that's a pretty sick trio once Mike Evans is back to full health.
Yeah.
However, the Giants and Neighbors haven't looked that great. James Cook has looked really good. Jaden Reed, I don't know. I mean, he week to week has proven that he can put up some points. So it feels like kind of a lateral or less than lateral move. So, all right, moving on. Or do we want to give the official app trade grade as well?
Do we want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so we could do one of two things. We can do the traditional sort of like, Kendall off the trade analyzer that doesn't have any context, or we can go into like Fantasy Pros and they can analyze it via rosters and
let's do Fantasy Pros. Yeah.
All right. So let me pop it up. Go down. Okay. All right. So according to Fantasy Pros, based on our league settings and rosters, that move dropped Springfield 5% in the power rankings and had a negative impact of a negative 2.8% on Brendan in the power rankings. So It says bad for both, worse for Springfield.
So we kind of, I guess, got it right. Worse for, all right. Well, there you go. Both teams got worse. The hallmark of a good trade when both teams get worse.
Those players been flipping like crazy. So you want to take us to the next one?
So the next big trade, B turned right around. Didn't even let James Cook and Ray Davis find an apartment, let alone unpack their bags in the locker room. And he flipped James Cook and Ray Davis to the running back hungry Kendall Cook on the comeback trail for Raheem Mostert, Jamison Williams, and Jalen McMillan. So James Cook and Ray Davis for Raheem Mostert, Jamison Williams, and Jalen McMillan. Initial thoughts?
Initial thought was, wow, good for Kendall. He's just constantly grinding and trying to get a running back, and he had the hump thing come up, and that led to the chase thing, and just patchworking this lineup that looked like it had some major holes. And then Lance Cook, I mean, my initial thought was, what's B doing? I just thought it was bad for B. I didn't think there was a pressing need, especially with JMO. I think he might have been suspended, maybe not. Maybe he was just coming off it. Not sure. McMillan, I'm pretty sure was banged up, like either had a hamstring injury or had just came off a missed game there, something like that. Mostert has been trending down all season, and I think he's going to be replaced by Jalen Wright altogether soon as the change of pace back. So that was weird, especially when you have like a guy that's like a set and forget guy in your lineup. I get it. B, struggling with wide receivers. I just thought that there's probably something else out there. If he's going to trade Cook, he could have got better value there. For Kendall, I think it's good. So grade in the trade, I would give Kendall an A-, and I would give Brendan a C.
Yeah, a little extra context. Kendall traded Darnell Mooney and Kareem Hunt for Chase Brown and Jamison Williams. So effectively, Kendall traded Darnell Mooney, Kareem Hunt, Raheem Mostert, and someone he picked up off waivers for Chase Brown and James Cook. So when you zoom out a little bit, it's, I think, even better for Kendall, a guy who had no running backs 3 weeks ago, now has a really solid duo. So I agree. I would actually give it an A for Ken, because I don't see his downside there. I mean, Jamison Williams can go off week to week, or he can also have one catch for 4 yards and get suspended for PEDs. Mm-hmm. There's just 3 guys that Ken gave up that really, I mean, are the bottom of his bench, more or less, for a top 10 running back. So what about Fantasy Pros? What does it think about it?
Fantasy Pros, a similar situation here. It has it bad for both.
Bad for both.
Yeah, bad for both. So, not entirely sure what it's seeing as far as Kendall's makeup there.
Maybe just giving up depth.
Yeah, giving up depth, and I'm not looking too closely into this, but that's just a dumb machine. So, all right, move on to the next one.
So Ken also doesn't let James Cook and Ray Davis even unpack their bags in the locker room. These guys are bouncing around. They're pissed at their agent. Ken turns right around and flips James Cook and Ray Davis for David Montgomery.
We've had so much I feel like I typically have a really good pulse on the league, what's going on. There was a time, like a span of a couple days, even now, where I had no idea who was on whose team. Like,
it's crazy.
Especially with these guys. It was just so
flying
all over
around.
the place. Yeah. So
I know.
so
I've caught myself a few times over the past few weeks being like, wait a minute. Like, oh, so how did that person end up there? Like, there's dudes on Brennan's team that are on his team for the second or third time this season. Like, it's just hard to follow. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love it. I don't love this trade as much for Ken. I love it for Casey. I know Ken just really had it out. He just wanted David Montgomery on his team. I know Ken really wanted David Montgomery and Gibbs to pull off the Ken stack. I don't know. I mean, I think, look, they're both really great running backs, but Cook just seems like he's had such a higher ceiling. And David Montgomery's through his bye week, though, and Ken's in a must-win, so I can kind of see how that might, play here. But I give it a B- for Ken and a B+ for Casey.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty similarly. I think it was fairly lateral, the trade. The bye week situation with Montgomery is really beneficial for Kendall, I feel like. I think their floors are pretty similar. Cook can get phased out of a game. Montgomery can have a subpar game. I mean, he's not as dynamic as Gibbs. I would lean towards Casey in this, assuming Casey can pick up some wins here. He's got that mega bill stack. I just think second half of the season, I see it more of a Gibbs time. I think they lean more heavily on Montgomery early, and the trend is more Gibbs late. But one thing that does make me nervous is being too Bills reliant for Casey. So, in that way, I don't know. I guess it's so lateral. I think under a microscope, I would take Cook over Montgomery with the team dynamics. Honestly, I'm talking myself into liking this more for Ken now that I see it.
I love it.
Because of the bye week and because of all the Bills. So, I mean, I would give it upside-wise, Casey winning, and safety-wise, I think I'd give it to Kendall. I'll give them both Bs.
Casey does have 4 starters who play for the Bills.
Yeah, that's wild.
And he is probably going to be in must-win the rest of the season. So tough to overcome that. I think next week, right? Week 12 bye, when you don't have your starting running back, quarterback.
I think he does. So he's got the week 11 basically free win this week. Maybe he factored that into it.
Yeah, it's going to average out. I can afford to throw week 12. Okay.
Fantasy Pros. Fantasy Pros gives the edge to Casey. Positive swing for him by a couple percentage points and a couple negative percentage points for Kendall.
All right. You heard it here first. A couple other small trades leads us to the trade that Ken and I made yesterday after days of back and forths and spam trade offers and memes and screenshots of trade calculators. Ken and I settle on Justin Jefferson and Josh Downs for Debo, DeAndre Hopkins, and Ladd. Initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts, man. I think that's I like it for you. I mean, I think you were in a position, especially after our trade, I would just assume that you wanted to trim down some of the middling guys and upgrade into, some more set and forget sort of things. And, it was the same feeling that I had when I had a lot of those guys on my team before we made our trade. And so I knew as soon as we made our trade, you were probably going to be in the same frame of mind. You swing it. I mean, you give away some good players. So I think it really hinges on Debo because he has elite wide receiver 1 upside, but he also has, the potential to be the exact same as Ladd McConkey or Hopkins week to week. So his floor is there. He doesn't have that safe floor. Jefferson gives you an elite floor, which I think is helpful for your team because when you have so many similar guys starting at wide receiver, ideally you have someone that you can bank on to get into the mid double digits, if not the high double digits. And I think Jefferson gives you that. Downs, I see him. I like McConkey and Hopkins more than Downs by a decent amount, especially with Richardson back. But Jefferson obviously is the star of the trade there. And I don't know. I don't know how you feel. Debo, who I've had many times, I'm always holding my breath with him. So you don't typically have to do that with Jefferson. I like it for you, slight edge. But Kendall, let's see if you can, get Ladd working for him. Pretty decent trade for both. The one thing about this trade that I was a little curious about was just, I just have to think that maybe there was a better trade out there for Jefferson after Ken held on to him for so long in his so-called JJ sweepstakes. But obviously I don't know. That's on him to figure that out. And he felt good about it and pulled the trigger. But yeah, I would say for you, I like it. I like it as an A. You added Justin Jefferson, and so yeah, good for you there. For Kendall, it adds some depth. I know he had some pieces there where he probably felt squirrely about starting. I'd give him a B.
Yeah, time will tell. Obviously, 2 weeks ago, I with these guys in my lineup dropped 135 points, and last week I didn't break 70. So I was sick of toiling over that. I think DeAndre Hopkins has a shot at multiple touchdowns every week from here on out.
Mind you, with Debo out of the lineup.
That's true. Debo was on bye.
I'm saying when you scored so many points.
Yeah. Debo was on bye. So Debo has a 20, 25 point game in him every single week, but there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. They're bringing Ricky online. CMC's back. So yeah, it was about downsizing. I spent too much time on the fantasy football app, and you're starting Justin Jefferson. last week I lost because I didn't start Calvin Ridley because I had so many of these freaking guys that are all kind of the same on paper, and my dumbass picked Rome.
You were sick.
Calvin. Yeah,
you were sick. The baby was screaming.
But that cost a win right there. So, anyways, that's that, and that's all the trades, unless anything goes down from the time of recording to the time of release. So let's bring some hype.
Well, we did real quick. We did. We had a Etienne and Pearsall trade. A little guy there. Etienne and Pearsall, Pearsall just went off for 15 for Brendan, helped him get a dub. We'll see if Etienne can flourish in his new environment. And we had a Rashad White and Jerry Jeudy trade. Rashad White, who all he does is scores touchdowns and gets in the way of Bucky.
Some smaller trades sprinkled in here, and you never know. Sometimes these are the ones that make the difference. But look, I trade Etienne to Brendan for Ricky because I'm sick of playing the Etienne Bigsby game. Brendan just knows how to make things work. Bigsby's out. Etienne finally lead back again. So I'm sure he'll be at least an RB2 the rest of the season for Brendan, because Brendan is just good at these things. And yeah, Rashad White for Jerry Jeudy. Interesting one.
Yeah, whatever. Let's move on. We've got, like we said, 24 hours to the trade deadline. And I don't know. I feel like most of the big waves have been sent. I guess I'm just
do we have any bombshells left?
I'm projecting on myself here because I haven't even really thought about a trade much since last week. Seems like the waters have calmed a little bit here in the last 4 or 5 days or so. But,
I could see Ken flipping like a 2-for-1, potentially trying to upgrade at wide receiver. I think at this point, though, and I maybe am speaking from experience and trying to talk
2-for-1. Like, what does the 2-for-1 look like? Like a
Debo and DeAndre, or I don't know. But this is the other thing. Like, I think most people are pretty stoked with their teams right now, unless someone like Casey wants to divest themselves of half their team being on bye week 12. But if hypothetically I was Casey and Ken having a conversation, I could see Ken maybe offering Debo and DeAndre, who are both through their bye, for I don't know,
Puka or something.
So maybe we've got 1 or 2 of those left. I still think that Luke and Dom are probably going to try to make some moves because they've got a lot of depth, but you can only start however many people in the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter at that point. It's like you can't spend your money once you're dead.
Well, but honestly, to that point, they've made a couple trades, right? They did the Nico and Derek trade. You can't have that much depth after you make both of those trades to upgrade. And what they do have left, I think it's reached that point of diminishing returns, like we've spoke about with Luke's team, how it's sort of transpired like that the last couple years, where there's been a couple big trades, right? But then players, you have to get on top of these things. When middling players are performing well and look like set and forget guys, eventually they return. They regress to the mean. And some of these guys, I'm seeing that out of. So I don't really think the depth's there. If he's able to flip Burrow, I was really close to making a trade for Burrow. I wanted a little too much. And
what was the trade? You don't have to air all the dirty laundry if you don't want.
The trade involved A.J. Brown. It involved Burrow and pieces. I wanted a little bit extra in the pieces, and he wanted a little bit less. In hindsight, I'm glad I didn't make it, but at the same time, man, having Burrow instead of Goff right now sounds so amazing. So.
It does. Burrow's got a tough schedule coming up.
He does. That was part of the reason.
Joey Cool. So.
He is. I mean, he's liable to hang 30 any given week. So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Is there anyone in particular that stands out to you as like a player that might get traded, or like is there one manager in the league that you think might make a move?
If I'm looking at going back to anatomy of a trade, if I'm looking at people that might have opportunities on their roster, are you, if you're Graham, at all concerned about your wide receivers? I think the answer is probably no when you've got Saquon and Kamara and Hunt. Although my only sort of if I'm a Hunt Pacheco manager right now, are they going to cannibalize each other once Pacheco's back?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I mean, Hunt's done such a good job that do they literally just say thank you, enjoy your ring if we have it, and we thank you for your services. I think they're both
super involved still. And if you're Graham's team now, you're relying on Saquon and Kamara to go off, which they probably are liable to do that every single week. But if they both have a down week and you're rolling out Jennings and Brian Thomas Jr. and Mooney, it's not you don't want to catch a loss at the wrong time. So that would be potentially an opportunity.
Graham had his worst and didn't even end up being that bad last week. His sort of worst form of the team sort of realized last week. And
mid-90s, right?
Yeah, mid-90s, and a week later, he has got 32 to start the week from Saquon. So it's like you really can you got Purdy's good, and Jennings I think is going to be a good wide receiver 2, if worst 3.
You can't assume the worst. You just got to assume that.
Yeah, it's fantasy, right? You're going to be compromising somewhere, but if he were to make a trade, he'd have to lose much of which got him to that point, and just hope that the alternative was
maybe
better,
a little too late to try to rebuild things right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Brendan's probably pretty content, although I know he's always open to hearing some offers, but I think we've hit a point. Excuse me. I think we've hit a point where, Casey, we talked about the bye week, but I think he's pretty set with his guys. I don't know that Casey really likes making trades anyways. So, and then of course, Jay, I think Jay's checked out. So I'd be surprised if there was like a massive move, but if there were one, I would say that on one end of that would be Luke. I would always put myself in the conversation for a move. If someone can get Puka off Casey for some guys, I think that's what we're looking at.
I'd really want to make one, dude. I just haven't been able to figure out what makes sense for my team. Really, I just haven't. I've wanted to.
It's tough, right?
And I haven't been able to figure it out.
It's tough. It's real tough. I caught myself last night thinking about moves. The second I got JJ, the first thing I thought wasn't I'm super stoked to have JJ in my lineup. It was wow, this opens so many other doors for trade talks.
Yeah.
And then I caught myself just being do I really want that guy over Jay? What am I talking about?
Right. Yeah, I'm in that boat. I'm not trading Jamar.
Right.
And I would be open to trading Bijan who's just been an absolute I think he's been the RB1, not if we don't include Saquon's latest 30. Before this week, the last 5 weeks or so, I think he's RB1.
Yeah, he's
he's realizing it. So he's the only guy that I maybe be open to trading for a big prize, but other than that, I don't know. A JSN Bucky situation 2-for-1, but I don't. Yeah,
you got to get a running back, and
yeah, it's tough.
If you traded Bijan, you got to get probably 2 solid startable people.
What did I say to you?
JSN and Bijan for JJ
and Brees. No,
it was JJ and
Pollard.
Yeah. So
that's actually a pretty interesting one. Think about it.
If JSN plays like he played last or 2 weeks ago, that's a super interesting one.
Well, I mean, if he plays even if he just plays like a wide receiver 3 too, it's still somewhat interesting, considering Bijan's upside has been way more than
the Bijan Brees combo
Jefferson.
is pretty sick. Yeah.
Right. It is. I've flourished actually since I disregarded that duo, but
it's too many. It's too much egos in the same locker room.
Yeah, too much size. But anyways, that was our trade deadline special. I'd be curious to see if anything pops off here in the next 24 hours. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything. To be honest, I don't really get many trade requests just historically, so I don't really see a lot of that. I think if I had to say who would hit me up, historically overall, I'd be you will hit me up about a trade. Ben once a year will hit me up, and Brendan, I think I've reached. Well, Brendan, me and him.
Brendan loves making trades.
Yeah, not historically. I don't get a lot of people knocking on the doors. I don't know.
Is your open sign on?
It's open. Yeah, it's open. It's open.
Are your hours on Google correct?
Who have you not made a trade with? Do you know?
I have not over the history of the league. I don't know that I've made a trade with Spring. We've come close on a couple. I don't know that. I think Evan and I have not made a trade. We've come close on a couple, especially a couple years ago. And Hunter and I don't think we've ever made a trade. And I've never made a trade with Jay. I've tried many times. I don't think I've ever made a trade with Jay. But I think I've made trades with everyone else. So I love making trades. It's fun.
I love making trades.
Fun.
I have, man, it's just crazy. I don't know if I've made a trade with Graham. Graham, if you're listening, let me know if we've made a trade. I don't think we have. I've made a trade with Evan. I know that. Brennan, obviously, yes. You, yes. Hunter, I don't think we've ever made a trade. I really don't think we've ever made a trade. Ben, yes. Casey have never made a trade. Kendall, I don't remember. I don't think we've ever made a trade. I would say no to Kendall. Luke, I do not believe we've ever made a trade. Springfield, we've made one trade, I think, in our history. I remember that years ago, Keenan and Leonard Fournette. And Jason have not made a trade. So as someone also who I feel like is an active trader, I think half the league I've never made a trade with. So
it's so wild how many different ways there are to play the game, because I mean, I go into trade mode the second the draft is over and until the trade deadline passes every day. I spend so much time thinking about trades. And there's people that like maybe they make one trade a season. Like, how many trades has Jason made that you can remember throughout the entire history of the league? He made a big one last year. I think that was pretty sweet. But
I think he's made a couple not this year, but a couple the last couple years. Beyond that, can't
really remember a ton. Nothing wrong with that. But some people just don't make a lot of moves. Casey's made a lot more moves this year, but obviously his first few years in the league, is
this year the first year he's made a trade?
We did like a small trade a couple years ago back with Garrett Wilson's rookie season, but like he's been way more active this year and way more open to it, I think, which is pretty cool. But so I mean, crazy. It's crazy. I'm really excited.
We'll see how it goes.
That it's over.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah, over. I know. There is a relief. Time. Just ride it out. Just see how the chips fall. So that was that. Are we finishing up here? What do we have?
Quick power rankings, top 3, bottom 3.
Perfect. Trade deadline special power rankings. We've done this before, right? Our inverted power rankings.
Yep.
We're going to go pyramid style. Do you want to start with bottom 3 or top 3?
Let's start with top 3.
Top 3. Okay.
Start with the good news.
Okay. So we want to go one after another, or do we want to give...
Yeah, one after another.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So top 3. Whew. A lot of good teams out there. And I've broken records saying this, but we've got some amazing parity in the league, especially this season. Everyone's got a good team. From the top, though, my number one... I don't want to... This is tough. Man. I think I have a top 4. Okay. I'm going to start with 3. Third best team. And I'm going to go with Spring. I'm going to go with Spring even at 4 and 6. I'm going to give him the third best team.
I like it.
And the only reason I can't go higher, obviously 4 and 6, things haven't been great. And I have vested interest in one of the teams in the top 2. So I'm going to go Spring there. And 2, I'm going to go myself. I'm going to go myself at 2. I feel like this week I don't feel really great about. We'll see how it turns out. But over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I feel like the team's trending in the right direction there. So I'll put myself at 2. And then 1, and honestly, literally no offense to your team, Luke. I just there's something that I can't get behind. There's something that I just don't feel totally confident yet. You might just blow the brakes off the place with Nico back and Henry, and I'll totally change my mind. But I would have you at 4. But at 1, I'm gonna put Graham up there. He had a down week last week, but I just feel like there's something there. I'm telling you, I feel like there's something there with Graham's team, something that goes beyond the Saquon 30 balls, and it's just been a consistent presence. Like, the ceiling guys in that lineup, someone more often than not has shown up to where it's like, okay, you feel like he didn't even have a great week, but he scored 120, and you look and there's a guy with 32 and there's a guy with 26 or whatever. And it's just like, man, just ceiling plus solid performances. masking like a few like 3-point or 5-point performances in the lineup. So, yeah, I'm gonna go Graham 1.
I like it. All right, I've got a little bit different top 3 actually. So I'll start with 3. I'm actually gonna go with Casey, even at 4 and 6. But
that's a good one.
No one is excited when they're staring at that roster, as long as it's not week 12. Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Christian McCaffrey, James Cook, freaking solid. So
he's got one of those super scary, but also maybe scarier on paper teams.
Yeah, scarier on paper, but
we'll see
it's
how
like
the Nacua Wilson combo. I feel like those guys, and they're scary. I don't want to down talk it, but yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about CMC and Josh Allen, I mean, 30 plus points for both those guys seems pretty doable.
Yeah. Assuming CMC is CMC.
Yeah, assuming which he looked pretty solid like when he was, first game back. And then you sprinkle in either Puka or Garrett having a solid game, which seems okay.
Yeah. Casey's
James Cook
good.
having a solid game seems pretty achievable. So
I mean, he's got Rashad White and Amari Cooper on the bench there just to fill in for guys. Yeah, his team is really good.
Yeah. So and even like Rico Dowdle, like we've joked about him so much, but like he's just been like a solid flex player.
Dowdle season.
So not saying, I mean, it's just crazy. He just gets these performances out of his guys. So I am going to go with you, number 2. The top end of that roster just looks really, really solid. I mean, Jamar, AJ, Bijan, DJ Moore.
He'll be
honestly, the David Njoku pickup is real sick. Top 5 tight end there. And, Bucky is looking really solid too. So, and then, I got to go Graham number 1. Just like, if we go way back to, I think, our post-draft episode, I wasn't like that big of a fan of Graham's team because it just looked like, I mean, obviously at the time we didn't know that Alvin Kamara was going to have like a bounce back season at age 97. Saquon, like, was he actually going to be good with the Eagles? So, and his receivers are, no big names there. So, but damn, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worked out, and Graham would probably agree. Like, it's worked out to be the best case version of what the team is, of what it was drafted. Purdy, just a really under the radar, underappreciated, real life player and fantasy player. The wide receivers turned out to be more solid than, or at least as solid as I think you could hope for. I mean, you can wish for the stars with whoever you draft because you're drafting them. You think they're going to be amazing. But like realistically speaking, I think they've worked out to be like the version of themselves that would make themselves valuable in that lineup. So there's that. And then I don't think he, as much as he liked drafting the Saquon Alvin combo, I don't think in his wildest dreams he would have assumed they'd be as elite, as big a carries, as they were. So that's just like the best case version. Obviously, when I have Bijan and Brees on my team, you're looking at it through the lens of CMC's hurt and these are the next appointed guys. I'm thinking of them as Saquon and Alvin are for Graham's team, right? It just didn't work out that way. But
exactly.
So it's worked out pretty nicely.
And just the way it's built, because those guys are such tanks, and he's got, he had Chase Brown in for a while, and he's got Kareem Hunt. I mean, we've talked about this before. Someone else is going to have a good game, whether it's Brian Thomas Jr., Mooney, Jennings, and that's all you need.
If you're getting 23 or 25 from Purdy,
that's all you need.
Yep.
Luke and Dom, I mean, first place, but here's my concerns down the stretch with them. Devontae Adams hasn't been playing very well. T. Higgins has been banged up. Derrick Henry is a beast. Najee Harris has an incredibly hard schedule down the stretch, and he does suck. Like, he is not
and he's
a good...
seeding work to Warren. That's how it's trending. He's seeding work to Warren.
I mean, he's been good for the last 6 or 7 weeks from a fantasy perspective, but he's Najee Harris.
Does Connor break down?
Yeah, Connor's never played a complete season.
Right.
Now, this late bye maybe helps get him
true.
to the end, but he's never played a complete season. So you just wonder, is he going to keep it going or not? But he's kept it going all season. They've kept it going all season.
Yeah,
so
great team.
Yeah. Bottom 3. and then we're out of here.
Do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'll lead us off. I mean, I'm gonna go worst to 10th.
I think you should go 10th to worst. So start with third worst.
Okay, third worst. I've got to put myself in the third worst category. I've been a backfiring engine over the last 5 weeks. It's like 77, 80, 140, 62. I made some moves, but we'll see. If we did suicide watch list this week, I would still be on the list. So I'll put me 10th. I think, man, there's so many good teams. There's just like so many good teams in our league.
Yeah.
I
think even being on this list, it's not to say that your team's bad. It's just
right. Just compared to what else is going on.
You got to make a call here and now.
You know what? I'm going to put me 11th, actually. So, let's put an asterisk there. I'm going to put Brendan 10th. Brendan's better than me, but he's 10th. And it's just, at this point, what is going to happen is Patrick Mahomes going to score 15 points a game. Jameson Williams, Jaden Reed, DK Metcalf. Is DK actually back and healthy? Is JSN going to take over some of his deep looks? DeAndre Swift tends to fade down the stretch. He definitely did last year. So, I'm, no offense. It's still a really good team, and obviously Brennan finds a way to make it work. And then I got to put Jay last, unfortunately. A lot of potential on paper. It's unfortunate that Dak got hurt and kind of makes CD a middling wide receiver. He's rolling out some basically practice squad dudes at running back this week. It's been a tough go. I appreciate the commitment to CJ Stroud this year and to everyone else on the roster, but those are my bottom three.
All right. Yeah, obviously tough segment. It's just all about kind of what you feel in the moment here. And yeah, so third worst, I guess, or 10th place. I would be probably looking at you and Brendan is what I would be looking at. It's same thing that I was feeling for you, man. It's just Brees should be way better. The Jets, they're so bad. Them, not Brees. Them. Brees has still been playing well lately. Every time he touches the ball, man, I might put you in that 10th spot right now, with room to grow. If Brees shows up, I think that's. The potential's there. The Brees Jefferson combo. So, just as of right now, coming off last week, I'll probably put you in that slot. 11th. I got to go with Ben. I was feeling it for a bit, and now I'm not feeling it as much now, Ben. So, we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to put Ben in there at the 11th spot. And then, 12th, I'm going to go with Jason too. It's just been a tough go record-wise and week-to-week performance-wise. Doesn't look like it's getting any brighter with Dak being gone. So, yeah. There's the pyramid inverted power rankings. There you go.
Everyone feel good about those, especially the people on the bottom. Well, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that we get to the guest. We have a fantastic guest on this episode for you guys. And I just want to say we've been trying to line up guests the past few episodes. Are we I feel like the enthusiasm's not quite been there.
Yeah,
maybe it's partly on us for reaching out 30 minutes before we record.
Well, they think it's a well-oiled machine, which in many ways it is. But at the same time, it's hard for us to link up, right? Like our schedule. So it's kind of spur of the moment, even when we decide that it's possible for us. So the trickle-down effect means that it's more than likely going to be a spur of the moment thing for our guests. And so we apologize to the people that we reached out to last second, but that's kind of the nature of the beast with these things, especially when there's a lot of stuff going on for us.
But with that being said,
lead us in, carry us home.
Let's thank our guest for making time, for keeping two hands on the wheel, and for hopping on the pod. Please join me in welcoming the one, the only Party Ben.
Party Ben! All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the time that you've all been waiting for. Before he's ever listened to the podcast, he's actually making a podcast appearance. That's none other than Mr. Ben, your league mate. He's made it. He's currently on the road to practice right now. So, it's baby steps with Ben. We're going to take what we can get from him. Ben, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've listened to every one, so thank you very much.
Let's go. We got some slight turbulence here, but yeah. Ben, we like to give him a hard time, but I do know he has listened to some. Not all the way through, as was discovered last weekend. I think he what
I
did
didn't
we,
listen.
oh you
I didn't
asked
listen last week.
you asked me if we had a name for my son. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, Ben. That's really classic because I actually said it in a really emotional announcement to the whole group.
Yeah, I didn't listen to last week. That was we all got up early. Elise got up early. See, I try to get up early on Saturdays just to listen to it because Elise is not a fan. So, but no, we all got up early, so it wasn't happening.
Elise isn't a fan of what?
Of the podcast, of fantasy football, of football, anything fun. So.
Oh no.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe you can be a fan of our podcast after fantasy season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ask her
what
if she has any recommendations for us. We're going to keep this thing going.
Okay, sounds good.
Maybe if she gives it a chance, she'll have a different opinion.
Maybe she'll listen to it now that I'm on.
Yeah. You should show her this episode since you're on it.
She'll be very proud.
Okay, Sam, we got Ben. We got a limited amount of time. Why don't you give him a little rundown of the agenda for him today?
Ben, we were figuring that we want to check in with you, get a little state of how you think the year is going, how you think your team's doing, prospects for moving forward. We'll play that into your playoff predictions, what you think the season's going to end up looking like, who are the 6 teams that are going to make it to the dance. We got a fun segment for you. After that, a little game we'll play that we'll introduce to you then. But that's it. I mean, we'll keep it short and sweet. Know you're in the car on the way somewhere. So, yeah.
Perfect, Ben. We'll lead us off, man. 10 weeks into the season. I know it hasn't started off super great for you, but give us your quick rundown. What's the state of the league, state of your team? How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good, feeling like I'm in it. I'm back in it. For a while there, I was ready to quit fantasy football altogether.
What was your lowest moment?
Oh man, I feel like I had a really low moment like week 3, and then every week after that, it just kept getting worse and worse. I think I even texted Graham like something like, "Don't even text me right now, dude. I'm not even gonna. I can't do fantasy football," something like that. And that was like week 3. And
was that when you changed your name?
All right, come on, man. What are you doing?
He's driving.
It's a green light, and this guy's just like walking in the middle of the road. But okay, it's Vista. No, that was way before that. I don't even remember. I mean, it's just been, you know what? It's just so many low points. Like making moves, and literally the move I make costs me a week. I mean, I think I'd have at least 3 more wins just based on just ridiculous moves I've made this year.
And what were those moves? Remind the listeners, what were those moves?
Yeah, thanks. Let's just rehash this stuff. I mean, I forgot it all. Sure, let's just go over it again. I had my Garrett Wilson and Garrett Wilson and Rico for Debo and Xavier Legette, and that cost me a win against you. I don't think the Malik Neighbors trade has directly cost me a loss. That's kind of been like a wash of a trade, but I definitely didn't feel good about that right away. But then the Debo for Devontae Smith, yeah, that cost me a win. So thanks, Sam. Appreciate that one.
Devontae's been better than Debo though.
Yeah, no, it worked out fine. Because I started Devontae Smith, I benched Cedric Tillman, and that's what it was. So,
yeah.
But all good. I mean, I'm despite all that, I'm still in it, and we'll probably make 1 or 2 more moves to blow my season. So it's all good.
Your team's looking good, man. Your team's looking good. It helped getting Tua back by transitive property, I think. I mean, a chain's looking sick.
Yeah. So that's helped a lot. So yeah, thankfully, division's kind of struggling altogether, but I don't know. I mean, I think, yeah, I got to win out in the division. That's the key. So I think if I do that, then I should.
So you're in an interesting spot. Last year was pretty similar. We were in a division where I thought there was really good teams, just records wise, it just wasn't working out. Walk me through the division you're in. Where do you how do you see that playing out? How do you see the teams that are in it finalizing? Like what's your feel for the division you're in right now?
I think yeah, it's tough. I mean, I guess, Casey and Ken both have some strong teams. So I think between the three of us, it'll just be a tough it'll be a good three-way just finish to the end between the three of us in that division. So I think any one of us three between me, Casey, and Ken could take it. No, really though, I think Ken's made some good moves. He's got a strong team now. Whenever you have got McCaffrey and Josh Allen, that's pretty scary. So
Yeah, very scary.
I'm lucked out because I'm going to be facing all the Bills. Half of Casey's team on a bye, so I should be okay.
Oh wow,
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. Might be season saving. I did notice that you left out one team. Was that a Freudian slip? Was that on purpose, or what's the deal? There's another team in the division, right?
There is. Yeah, there is one more team. You can't count Hunter out. You really can't. He's always in there. He's just clawing and talking, and you always think he's in it, and he thinks he's in it. But at the end of the day, buddy, chili peppers. So
the sleepy underdog.
Yeah. No, he'll. I don't know. Now that I'm saying that, he's going to beat me week 14. You hear all about it now.
I like it. No, that's it. That's we like that. We invite that on the podcast.
Yeah, this is what it's all about, honestly.
Yeah, I like it.
So along those lines, give us your end of season predictions here. Who's taking your division? Who's taking the other two divisions? And what are you thinking for wild cards?
Playoff predictions. Let's see. Week 10 playoff predictions.
See, just off the top of my head. Well, for our division, I'll say me. I'll just say that right there. So I'll take our division. For Tom, who's in Thomas's divisions? Thomas, Luke, Griffin, and Jason, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Luke and Thomas will be in. I don't know who. I'm not sure who in the division. I think Luke and Thomas will make it. And then from the other division, so there's still three more spots, right? So who's at the top of? Oh, Graham. Yeah, so Graham.
Safe bet.
So there's still two more spots, huh? So there's Graham, me, Luke, Thomas, Evan, and what's Evan's record right now? I think
he's good, 6-4.
Yeah. Brendan, I thought he was putting together a pretty good team. I've just been so confused at what he's done all year. I feel like he's had like a really good team and then a really bad team and then a really good team.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, he does. Every trade, it's like, I don't know what you're doing. Wow, that worked out. Nope, that didn't work out.
Okay, so you got Evan. Are you saying Evan as the second to last wild card, and then you have one more wild card?
What's Evan's record?
6-4.
And then Brendan's is what, 5-5?
5-5.
Yeah, Brendan and Sam at 5-5, and I don't think anyone else is. Everyone else is 4-6.
So Graham, so Evan, yeah, Evan will be in. So there's still one more.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
It's half the league.
Multitasking, guys. It's not as easy as you might think.
No, it's not at all. I think Springfield will make it. Yeah, I think he'll make it. He'll get in there.
The three
No,
from
he won't. Yeah, he'll get in there. Yeah, Springfield will get in there.
3 from Houston, Japan, make it through. That's a safe bet, I think. It's definitely the strongest division.
Spring is 4-6, and we'll have to cannibalize each other in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think they'll get enough to get in.
That'd be tight. Yeah, it's gonna be tight.
I'm playing Spring week 12, and I have Bijan and Jamar on a bye. So
Yeah, Bijan. Oh yeah, that's pretty tough.
that means anything. Okay.
I like it. Brother Simmons, get in. Ben, you win your division, the only one from your division that gets in, and then we get 3 from Big in Japan.
Yeah.
Huge in Japan.
Huge. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not just big.
Yeah,
huge.
Huge Japan. All right, there we go. That's Ben's predictions. Ben's playoff predictions, week 10. We're gonna shift gears a little bit here, Ben. So get your thinking cap on. I know you're driving, and just keep in mind we didn't want to put you on the spot like this. We actually had this figured out with the guest already, and it was the last second note, no can do. So that's why it got thrust onto you like this. Appreciate the flexibility. But yeah, we have a little segment. It's kind of like a would you rather with your teammates. What we're going to do is we're going to give you a scenario, and then I'm going to pull two league mates out of a hat, and you tell me which league mate you'd rather be in that scenario with. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
As in, AKA, you're getting ice cream. Would you rather get ice cream with player A, player B?
Okay.
It's not as
Sounds
simple
good.
as ice cream. All right. You ready to go? Sam, you're going to take that first question. I'll draw. All right.
Okay, Ben, the first scenario is you are tasked with going north of the wall, infiltrating a White Walker camp.
This is Game of Thrones,
Game
by
of
the way.
Thrones. Yeah. You have to take out the key generals in the White Walker camp. You got to steal all their dragon glass and make it south of the wall. You and one other person, one league manager. You got to choose between Luke and Graham. Who are you taking?
Wow.
Why?
I feel like those are two pretty good choices there for this scenario. I'm gonna go with Graham, mainly because um, in a situation like that, that sounds pretty terrifying, and I probably wouldn't have any idea what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna trust in Graham.
I love it. Yeah.
Simple enough.
He is a lawyer.
All right. Second scenario. So put your sales cap on. You're trying to close the largest deal of your life. Okay. You're going to need to wine and dine these prospects in order to get them on board. You got to take one person, fly them into town, and help you wine and dine this prospect to close this deal. Would you rather do it with Evan? Would you rather do it with Evan or Brendan? Two good ones.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's really good. I'm gonna go with Evan, although I'm sure Brendan would be great. But I'm gonna say Evan. I feel like Evan could show them a good time, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean, Evan, right?
I think that's pretty safe. You would need a lot of help there, Ben. So, yeah.
Was it your wedding when Evan met people on the airplane that were coming to the wedding?
I think so.
And befriended them before it even started?
No, that was Luke's wedding.
Luke's wedding.
Yeah. All right. You're up.
Oh, yeah. We're still doing this thing. Okay, so scenario 3. All right. You've been invited to the Playboy Mansion Halloween party. Obviously, let's pretend we're in college, all right? We don't have families and wives and stuff like that. You've been invited to the
This is why Elise hates the podcast, okay?
Yeah. Elise, if you're still listening, send the ghost face emoji.
Send the divorce emoji.
Okay. The year is 2010. You've been invited to the Playboy Mansion Halloween party. You get to pick one of these league mates to help wingman for you. Who are you picking between Thomas
Oh, fly like a G6.
and Kendall?
I think there's a right answer to this. And I'm gonna go with Kendall.
Yes.
Hell
That's a good
yes.
one.
And
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
And why? You gotta tell us why.
I'm just thinking of the time we were at a System of a Down, and I kind of came to out of nowhere, and all I could remember seeing is Kendall in front of me walking forward. I grabbed his shoulder and followed him, and we had a great time.
I love it. Let's
Leader
go,
of
Ken.
Ben. Let's go, Kendall. Kendall, if you're listening to this, can you maybe send just a sunglasses emoji if you've ever successfully wingman for someone? Because I'm trying to think. I don't remember it, but yeah, I'd be interested to know. Kendall, drop the sunglasses and the story along with it if you have.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, next scenario. All right, you're going baby number 3, Ben, and somehow an emergency pops up. You and Elise are no longer around. You need an emergency babysitter, a 3-day emergency babysitter. 2 guys coming to the rescue. Would you rather it be Casey or Jason?
Casey or Jason? Casey did a great job holding my kid at your baby shower. He was an absolute natural. So I think he's ready for his own kids. Yeah, let's go, Casey.
Let's go. Casey
go,
takes
Casey.
on the father of 2. Let's get
Yeah.
underdog story. Jay, don't worry. Jay probably won't listen. He's checked out.
That's
Jay.
it's just been Jay's season.
Jay, if
honestly.
you're listening, drop a baby emoji here. All right, Sam, last one. Bring us home. You got
Last
triple.
scenario here. This is a good one. We got 3 people, all right, that you're picking between. You are lost in the Amazon. You are dodging previously uncontacted tribes. You have to navigate your way out of the depths of the jungle back to civilization. You can only pick one person to help. You got to pick between Spring, Hunter, and me. There's a right answer here. It's not a trick question.
I'm in the Amazon and I'm dodging. I got to get out of the Amazon. I got to get away from these tribes. Spring, Hunter, or Sam. I feel like if I was with Hunter, I don't think we make it out alive. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
You
know
guys
what we
end
do.
up fighting each other instead of the tribe mates?
Yeah, maybe he'd want to try to fight them. We are arguing too much. Yeah, no. Okay, so Spring, he's just too tall and we would be spotted.
It's an easy target.
Yeah.
Pygmy tribe, they try to like conquer him like King Kong, like get him in chains.
Yeah, he's way too big. So although maybe I'll survive that way. So we'll go with Sam.
Meat shields. I like it.
So the de facto choice is me. I would not be stoked to get picked to join that mission with you. But
You don't want to go.
that's a tough one. But no, I'm honored. I'm honored. I think we'd make it. We'd get out of there alive. Just a few bug bites.
Well, at least he picked the right answer for yours.
He did. That's true. Bring you to a Playboy Mansion party. Come on.
Ben, way to be a good sport. That was your Would You Rather section with Benny B.
I love it. Thank you, Ben. Ben, also, if you're still listening to the podcast at this point, please send a smiley face emoji.
Pick one out, Ben. What emoji do you want?
Um,
You're going to drop what emoji when you get it to this point in the podcast?
yeah, give me the American flag emoji.
Hell yeah.
Everyone else? It's a mandate from Ben.
Yeah.
American flag emoji when you hear this.
Yeah, if you all are still listening, drop some patriotism. All right. Well, do we want to?
We can give the option. We can give the option.
Do you want? I know you're in the car, Ben, but do you want to?
No, I'm stuck. I got here too late. I'm just stuck in a whole ton of traffic right now.
Oh,
So
no.
we're good. Let
Well,
me
do
see
you
what
want
time.
to? You want to partake in Gambler's Alley with us?
Yeah, let's do it. Wait, what happened?
Oh, yes.
All right, Ben. You know the drill. This is our FFtilD Gambler's Alley. You have to hit a 16 perfect parlay in order to win. We are at $100 for the prize. Basically, you got to get super unlucky to pay us that money. On the flip side, we could also be paying you. So, we'll send you a contract, sign off. We have this being set in blood here. So 6 out of 6, Gambler's Alley. I'm guessing since you're using your phone, you'll want us to tell you the matchups.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's line them up with one of our matchups first because we're going to want him to pick those.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start. You're going to make the choice between Sam, Call Me Daddy, and Big Trip, the newly named secondary assist, meaning he has devolved from a guy who is scoring 6 goals to someone who is indirectly assisting someone else who assisted a goal scorer. So I can tell things aren't great in the Springfield mental domain currently. Anyways, you're up, Ben. Springfield and Sam.
Yeah, I feel like this really just contradicts my playoff prediction, but maybe that's got to change. But yeah, I got to go Sam. I feel in a big Debo game. Oh no, Debo's not on your team.
Yeah, I traded Debo.
Oh no.
That change things?
Oh no. Then Spring.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
All right. I think that's the first time we like get one of each other on our
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I do like that JJ trade a lot.
You do? You like it?
I was trying to get him. So I liked it. Yeah.
I
I was trying to get. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays
Interested
out.
to hear how many times JJ was involved in a trade.
I know.
Really curious. Okay, so we'll go next. Let's pick Ben's game. We'll pick Ben's game. We do have the benefit of Thursday night football being done. Not a great start for either team, which I think probably helps Ben.
Yeah.
Then again, Devontae was pretty bad.
Devontae was pretty bad. Nico's back this week against Dallas.
Yeah, you know what though?
Higgins
I
is
want to
back.
I want to give. Are you going to leave Kansas City defense at Buffalo in there?
No, I'm playing. I think I have the Jets. I'm playing the Jets D.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful.
Oh, that could be a good.
Yeah, against Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, I think we got to do the guest the service and pick Ben.
All right, Ben.
I need Luke to take an L at some point. He just keeps pulling these out. It's crazy.
It is nuts. Let's go. I think, yeah, I like that. You know, T. Higgins, rush
A-Chain
back.
against Vegas.
Yeah.
It's gotta
Tillman
be
again.
Tough
Tillman's playing.
matchups for Luke's running backs. I'm liking it. Let's go, Ben. Bring us
Okay.
home.
All right, Ben. So we're gonna line you up with my matchup now. Me against Evan. We both had Thursday night players go. Bad showing from AJ Brown, pretty decent showing from Goddard, and an even worse showing from Scary Terry. So slow start in Evan and I's matchup.
Who are you playing at quarterback?
Goff.
Against Jackson.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Thomas.
Right.
All right, I got the hedge. We got the hedge. We got the hedge here.
All right. Let's venture down to another close matchup. Let's go. Let's look at B and Hunter.
All right, Brendan and Hunter. Where are these guys? Down
Yeah.
here. Okay. So
Okay.
they have a nice little bet going. Last night, Brendan said $50 if Hunter wins, and if Brendan wins, Hunter is excommunicated from the land of Trump memes.
Yeah. Super. Brandon feels a certain way about these memes, I guess.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, there's more at stake here than just a win and a loss. Could be a big blow for Hunter if Brendan wins.
Hunter had a pretty decent start from B-Rob.
No more memes ever. No more memes for the year. That was a mistake.
Back.
I think just for I would say probably just the season. You know, I'm honestly thinking Hunter at first glance. I know it's anyone's game, but I feel like Hunter's due for a win here.
I feel like Pickens might have a big game. The Pickens Russell combo might be pretty big.
They're gonna have to score, right?
Against New England. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna lock in Hunter here. You got Brendan. I'm thinking, the Mahomes Kelsey stack maybe is a little bit
We'll play it out.
neutered in Buffalo. I mean,
Yeah.
not like Pat's good ever, but
ETN against Detroit's pretty.
Metcalf at San Fran. I think they usually do a pretty good job on him.
Yeah, let's do it.
We say this, and Brendan always finds a way.
He'll
but-
score 140 this
Yeah.
week.
Okay. All right. Got Hunter. All right. So let's go ahead and give. Is that 4 or is that 5?
That's
4. Okay. Should we give him the cupcake one so far?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I guess there's 2 cupcakes left on paper.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to give him? Here or here?
Well, you want to take Casey and Jay, or do you want to take Ken and Graham?
I guess give me Casey and Jay.
All right, let's do it. Who you feeling in that matchup?
Um,
And Jay did have someone play last night. Noah Brown had one catch for 5 yards. Sorry, one catch for 4 yards.
oh, nice. Okay.
Honestly, it may not look effective now, but he's projected for a score that would have beat you by double digits last week. So don't laugh at it. 79 is big some weeks.
You can get 1 for 4 when you have McCaffrey and Josh Allen. Who's the 4 Buffalo guys playing?
Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir,
Who are they playing?
James Cook, KC. Pretty tough matchup.
That is tough.
Keep in mind, Jason did have a guy score 0.9, and he's starting Estime and Ford at running back.
Starting a third string running back and a
Got 0.9.
How do you pronounce Audrich's last name, by the way?
I think it's Esteem.
Esteem?
I have no idea.
Estime. Why would it be Estime? It just sounds like it.
Estime.
All right. Are you gonna you don't act like this is are you picking Casey? Okay. You got Casey?
All right.
All right.
Yeah. It's
All right. So that leaves us with Graham and Kendall. And
we gotta go Graham. Huh?
hard to pick against the 32.8 ball by Saquon.
Yeah.
How about that? How about he scored like 25 points in
In the last 5 minutes of the game. Ben's rolling out a completely new team this week, huh? New. Over the last 2 weeks, new.
Devo.
Yeah. Ken's team looks like, not bad, but we got to go with Graham. You can't bet against Graham. I learned that the hard way.
I told you, can't bet it as Graham.
All right.
All right, you want to rattle them off? Want to get Ben his teams?
All right, Ben. So you have Spring, Luke, Thomas, Brendan, Casey, and Ken. That leaves us with me, you, Evan, Hunter, Jason, and Graham.
And that's it. That's Gambler's Alley, and that's Ben, everyone.
Yeah.
That's Ben.
Appreciate it, Ben. Thanks for making time, making it work.
It was an honor.
Came in quick, adaptable, flexible, speedy.
It was fun.
All the things.
We appreciate that, Ben. We'll catch you on. Don't forget to drop your emoji. I mean, you got to listen to your own show, right?
Oh, there'll be a lot of them.
Let's go.
All right, Ben. We'll let you get back to driving. Once again, appreciate it, brother. Good luck this week, and we'll talk soon.
All right, we'll see you guys.
And we're back.
I was scared there for a second. Like we were gone and might never return.
You never know with these things.
That was Ben. How about Ben making a podcast appearance before finishing an entire podcast as a listener?
I love that. That's why I love doing this.
It was amazing. Can I give a really quick story time about Ben, which was it was just so fitting and hilarious, and just got to give him some crap for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
But so Ben randomly had some time to meet up this past Sunday. Graham was still in town, and we had plans to meet up and watch some football somewhere. So we went to Yard House to catch some games. I had got in touch with Ben, who was like, yeah, what are you doing? You going to do anything for the games? I was like, yeah, Graham's actually in town. We're going to be watching it, so come through. So the three of us actually met up and were watching some football on Sunday. And while we were chatting, just in conversation, at one point, Ben asked me, hey, so have you thought of a name for the baby yet?
No.
And I was like, Ben, it's just so fitting that you just asked this question because yes, I have. It's Beckham. And I, in fact, announced it to to everyone on the podcast. I made a formal sort of fun public announcement. I hadn't told anyone else in my life. And I said it to the league mates on the pod. And yeah, thanks for listening, Ben. And Ben's like, oh, what? When was it? I swear I listened to it. Apparently, he doesn't always listen to the very end, but
that's fair.
It's fair. I know.
You can actually check on YouTube the average watch time.
Oh, really?
Of our videos. Yeah.
No way. As the
admin. Yeah. I thought it would be a little bit higher.
Oh no.
I think it's probably because there's 12 of us in the league. We all listen to the podcast once, and then people go back every once in a while, listen to 5 minutes, hop out.
Right.
So that's why.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. If there's 30 30 listens.
Exactly.
There's probably only be one time where it's listened to all the way through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
That's
Ben.
hilarious. That's hilarious. No, not to take away anything from Ben. I just thought that was hilarious. It was just it was so appropriate. But way to hop on, Ben. Literally,
That was great.
I literally called him and I was like, are you free? Are you working? He's like, not really. I was like, all right, let's do the pod.
Made it happen in the car.
In the car.
Traffic.
Yeah, he was good. Only a couple road rage moments, but besides that, he got through. It was a great guest. And we move on. We'll see who's the next guest.
We move on.
Should we do the duo episode next time, or should we leave it as a singular guest entity?
For those still listening, we're going to toss this decision to the chat, and
Okay.
we would love some input on this. We have this idea of having two managers on at the same time, and we are getting to the end here down the stretch. So there are several of you that haven't been on the pod yet. You don't have to be on if you don't want to, but we'd love to get everyone on. And we also think it would be fun to get two on at once for a little showdown situation.
That would be great. We could do some fun things with that.
So let's hear it. I mean, if you guys are up for that, we'd love to make it happen. But seriously, let us know. I joke about letting us know in the comments, but actually let us know.
Let's go for that. But yeah, I think this was a nice episode. It was a nice comeback episode after the week break.
We're back. Bye week was great. Cabo was sweet.
It's different now, man. There's no spontaneous Cabo trips for the foreseeable future.
For a long time.
But yeah, I had fun. I'm excited for the next one. I don't think we have we're coming up on division. Next week will be
We're in the home
start
stretch
of divisions. 3 weeks
The last 3 weeks of the season.
Incredible.
We'll blink an eye, and here we are.
Incredible. Everyone is still alive technically. Jason, even you?
Yeah, even Jay.
Kendall, 1 game back of his division after starting 0-7. It's going to be crazy how it plays out. But yeah, I'm here for it. Excited to see how it goes down.
We are here for it, and we thank you for listening to episode 11.
Hey guys, real quick. You're all doing amazing. Keep going. Life is hard sometimes. If you need help, I mean, that think piece by Griffin, I think was awesome to read and to feel like, we're making a difference in each other's lives. So please reach out. You need someone, you need a friend, you need someone to talk to. We're all there for you. But love you guys. Good luck to everyone except...
Who am I playing this week?
Oh, shoot. Who
Oh,
are you playing?
no.
Oh, Springfield. No, wait. Are you?
Fuck you, Spring. Good think piece, Spring. Fuck you.
Wait, can we check
Yeah,
that?
I am.
Are you playing
I'm
Spring?
playing Spring, yeah.
Okay. All right. Same. Evan, love you, but I hope you lose. But beyond that, guys, take a second. Let's vibe to this outro music, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.